All right, this is just going to be a freestyle video. Just feel like talking. There's nothing else to do. No point to prove. At this point, and I know I always say at this point, but I just feel like I'm talking just to talk. You know, there's nothing to prove here. It's almost like find things to do that you like doing, have fun as much as you can, do what you can to stay busy, and do that as much as possible. Because, you know, the more that I attempt to prove something or argue something or let people know about something, it's like it's not doing anything anyway. It just seems like it causes more problems anyway. So I say, well, what is the point of even really talking about anything? But then I realize I'm just throwing stuff into oblivion. And there will be someone else that is bored or sitting around or doesn't have anything to do or needs to hear someone else just talk about things that they're throwing into oblivion. And that's all that it ever adds up to. But I don't want this to be something that I am depressed about or something that I have to worry about because I don't feel like I did something or I didn't do enough of something and all that type of stuff. And I realize it does sound like I'm all over the place because yet again, I told everybody on my channel, I am a contrarian. I am a hypocritical contrarian. I go from one extreme to the next. I go from one thing to the next. That's just how I always been. I don't fit into any categories. I don't fit in anywhere. It doesn't matter if I try to or I don't try to. I just don't fit in. I don't go by any determined thing. I don't go by any expectation. I don't live that way. I live spontaneously. I live in the moment and say things how I feel in the moment. I don't care about going by what people think that I should go by or some agenda or something like that. I don't know what people can't get through their minds with why do you and I think that somebody has to prove something to us or somebody has to, everybody has to cater to what I think or cater to my wants and my desires and what I think that you can say. You know what I'm saying to people? I'm saying to the world is fuck that. It's like, fuck what I think that you should be doing or how you should act or what you should say or how you should speak or what you should talk about or what you should be doing. It's irrelevant to anything in this life. We're all gonna live for some time and then we're going to die. We're all going to have fun and then we're going to be bored. We're all going to have these quote good days and bad days. I don't even see it as good or bad days. I just see it as your brain is doing something on its own. It's doing what it does, and that's what it does. And like even mental things, we just label these mental things as what we think are the mental things because we need a label for them to describe them to people. But I don't even see it as that. I see it as you either know things or you don't know things. And when you know a lot of stuff, it can depress the fuck out of you because you know what's going on. You know how people will react. You know what people will say. You know how they will respond. You know how they are. You know them better than they know themselves, basically. And it seems like I'm some arrogant, cocky asshole when I say this, and that is not that is just a label, again, that people are giving people because that's what they think. That's what they've been conditioned with. We always go by what we've been conditioned with. We always go by a label. We always go by something like that. What don't we understand out there? That this life is to be lived. This life is, that's why it's called life. Life is to be lived. And I know I go from being very, very depressed. I go from not wanting to get out of bed, and I go from saying, well, what's the point of all this? What's the meaning? And then I get into these talks where I'm saying, well, you know what? You have to do something. There has to be something that you get up for, that you want to get out of bed for. And if there isn't, then you know what? There isn't. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm telling myself this stuff. See, this is what everybody is not getting about this, because no one's willing to self-reflect. Nobody is willing to look in the mirror at themselves. Nobody is willing to expose themselves. And there's something that this guy told me today that I seen. He said the greatest projection is your own reflection. And it blew me away when this guy said this, because any normal person, any person out here that is just an average Joe, they're not going to understand a word of that. They're not going to understand it. And sometimes I ask myself, why am I even wasting my breath speaking? I'm asking myself, am I, like, I'm not asking people questions because I don't know. I already know the answer to the questions. I'm just putting this stuff out into oblivion for us to think before we do something. People don't think that I don't already know every outcome, every circumstance, every situation, every abomination, every procrastination, every validation, every masturbation, anything you can think of. I've already thought of it. I've already went through it. I've already experienced it. So yes, am I nuts? Have I lost my mind? Yes, maybe I have. Maybe I have, because I have been through this. I've been there and done it. It's a repetitive ball. And all that I'm doing is I'm looking for things to do to get out of that repetitiveness. I'm looking for something maybe, that has more knowledge than what I do, but I'm not finding anything. There is nothing, because once listen, when you discover philosophy and you get into philosophy and you listen to philosophers over and over and over, and you have watched every single movie, you have watched everything on history, you have watched everything, you have listened to everything, you have studied it, you looked into it, you've looked into it for yourself. See, this is what most people ain't doing. They don't look into things for themselves. And you know what I would tell y'all? Don't stare into the black void for too long. But then again, I want to tell you to do that, because it's like something Jordan Peterson said. If you stare into the black void long enough, you're going to see the light. You're going to see what's really going on. But that light does not mean that it's a good thing. See, you can go sane in an insane world. Did you catch that? Did all of us catch that? You can go sane in an insane world. And I know I can look like I'm insane. I can look like I'm nuts and I'm out of my mind and I'm just all over the place. Yes, because I am of many. I've been around so many different types of people. I have been in so many situations. I have looked into so many things. I have asked so many questions, and I'm not doing this for validation. I'm not doing this for people to like me or give me praise or to say, oh, well, do you think that you looked into this or you looked into that? Or do you think that you didn't do this or do that? Or do you think if you keep doing this, that this is going to happen? You're not telling me anything. You're not telling me nothing. Tell me something that I don't know. Teach me something that can actually bring value to my life. Do something that not the rest of the world is doing. Show me something that is actually different. And then I go, well, who can do that? And then I feel like I'm the bad guy because I have to say this, but then I say, who am I talking to? I already know the questions. I already know what you're going through. I already know how people react. And you know what? I'm not even going to say you, because then the person that is watching, they will take this personal. They will take it to heart. They will think that I am referring to them specifically. And I'm past that. I'm always talking about myself when I do this. But you have to see, when I say you, it's up to you to reflect all of these things back onto yourself. And I don't care whether you do that, you don't do that. That's not up to me. My life is my life. Their life is their life. Everybody's life is their own individual life. See, we're so used to projecting and we're so conditioned to be better than, or we have to say something to get on top of someone, or we have to seem like we know more. And I'm not being cocky and saying I know everything. I don't know everything that there is to know about science and building bridges and stuff like that. But when we're talking about intellectually and we're talking about personalities, how people respond, how people are, human nature, how people treat each other, history, wars, mankind, just every single thing you can think of, I've already heard and seen and listened to. I have seen and heard everything. There is nothing, I don't think that there's anything new that somebody is going to tell me that I don't know. And that kind of crushes me in a way. That's why I came out here to do this video in the first place, because I feel crushed, because this thing has taken on a repetitiveness. And when I look for things to do, I've already done them. When I look for answers for the questions I have, I realize that there is no answers, or the answers, I already know the answers. I'm just throwing this stuff out for people to reflect on that may not have heard it before, or I don't know. It's all that it is just self-reflection. It's just looking on the innermost, deepest parts of my energy, because that's all that I am. Is I am flesh, material, and energy. And all that you're listening to, all that you're hearing is energy. That is it. There's not a label. There's no name to it. There's no category you can put it in. I am simply energy that is using labels, that is using names, that is using categories to describe the elements in this earth and to describe how people are that are still into all that stuff. And I know that this sounds nuts and crazy, some of the things I say, but I am past so many of these things because I've already, it's just repetitive. I've seen it and heard it 1,000,001 times. And this is why I said at the beginning of the video, it's like I'm talking to talk. But you know what? I'm just going to say, look, it's okay. It's okay. Let me tone it down a little here. See, I don't like getting hype like that, but I'm not getting hype. It's my energy is on another level than the average Joe out here. And don't take it personal if you're somebody that may think you're an average Joe. It's nothing to take personal or to heart. All that we are is energy, looking for a way to push energy around and to release energy. What do you think sex is? It's energy. It's pent up energy. What do you think playing basketball is? It's pent up energy. What do you think it is when you want to go out and listen to music and ride in your car? It's pent up energy. And this is just the way that I talk. I'm not going to say sorry for the way I talk. This is just the way I talk. And I just want to tell myself, look, it's okay that you're talking just to talk. It's okay that you get into these ruts that really aren't ruts. It's just there's nothing left for me to really know about. The only thing left for me is to spew out this energy that I have. There's nothing left for me to do. I just have this ball of energy, not saying that I have this type of energy that I feel like doing things all the time, or I want to go to the store and get food and I'm just full of energy. No, I'm talking about having an outlet to vent and just to get this energy out of me, to get this pent up life that is in me out. That's all that it is. It's nothing more. But all of us, we always want to put labels. We always want to put names and these associations with everything, and then we compare things to one another and we say, oh yeah, you sound like this person, or you know, you're this or you're that. And it's like, listen, I already said this, it's just energy. I am not an identity. I don't have an identity. I live in the moment. I live how I feel. I live what I have experienced. I say what I say when it is the time to say it. And that is now, because I'm saying it now. There is no time. It's just now. And listen, for those of you who do understand this, the world will call you nuts. The world will call you all kinds of names. The world will spite you. The world will fight you. The world will undelight you. The world will do everything in its power power to, I don't even know how to describe it. They won't let you be you. Why don't we let other people be who they are? Why don't we let people say what they are saying? Why don't we let, if there's a person in a room playing a game and he doesn't want to go outside, then let him play the game or her play the game. If somebody likes to eat pizza and you go, well, you need to eat broccoli. If they want to eat pizza, then let them eat pizza, even though the pizza's bad for you and it's a bunch of dairy and the Pepsi you're drinking it with is a ton of sugar that's bad for you. If that person doesn't want to eat it, then they're not going to eat it. They're not going to eat the healthy alternative, which is broccoli, which I would eat. I'm not going to eat a ton of pizza and Pepsi. I don't drink soda. I drink water and I drink coffee. And I eat broccoli and I eat watermelon and I eat good things because I want to be healthy. But this world will not let you be you. And look, I don't even, it seems like I care, but I don't even care. Everybody has the right to say whatever they want to say, but it's always something judgmental. It's always some kind of conditioned hatred for somebody or some conditioned thought that you've been or I've been or they've been or the world has been conditioned by, and then they don't realize that the very thing that they are saying, the very thing that they are speaking or telling another person, it is a conditioned thought. It is a conditioning of this system or our family or traditions or religions and all this stuff. And I want to tell people, I said this in the video from yesterday, I am not a religious person. See, this is another thing that people cannot understand about. When you say you're not religion is when you say that I am sure that this is something and I practice this and I do this all the time. It's like tradition. It's like culture. I do things when I need to do them. I pray. When you pray, this is what prayer is. It is going on the inner part of your own energy. It is self-reflecting on yourself. That's what prayer is. Some people need to do it and some people don't need to do it. This is not for us to judge. Some people need to think that there is God or Jesus, and some people don't need that. It's not for us to judge. And judging is so easy. It's so easy to judge somebody else. It's so easy. Oh, what you're doing, I don't approve of. You know, what you're doing, I don't like. What you're doing, well, I don't do that, so you're my enemy. And I don't like you, and that's cool. You don't have to like somebody. You know, it's even with me, it's not about liking or not liking. I'm past all of that. I don't care about liking and not liking. I don't care about this comparing thing. This is not freedom. This is control. See, this is why none of us are free. This is why none of us are free thinkers. This is why none of us can actually self-reflect. The greatest projection is self-reflection, but we're not self-reflecting. we're projecting everything that we've been conditioned by onto other people. That's all that we know how to do. And look, even I do these things that I am talking about, or I have done them. I am no better or worse than any person out there. I am a natural human being that is going to be here for some moments, and then my body will, the heart will stop beating, the mechanism of my body will stop, I'll stop moving, and I have no idea what happens. I mean, it's called death. You would think we die. I have no idea if there is really a creator. I have no idea if there really is life after death. I have no idea. All of us, we should be able to be humble enough to say that we are all agnostic. Every single one of us can say, well, maybe there isn't, or maybe there is. We don't know. See, I'm not on the side of believers and Christians and Muslims, and I'm not on the side of atheists. And there's a channel, DS, capital DS, Daryl Sloan, where he talks about a lot of this stuff. And if you want to listen to a channel that knows what they're talking about, then go and listen to his channel. He talks about how he is not a Christian or he is not atheist. Just because I talk about Jesus Christ, just because I pray to the cross of Jesus and his sacrifice, that doesn't mean I'm religious. It doesn't mean I'm a, quote, Christian. It's a metaphor. It's self-reflection. It's putting all my burdens where I don't know where else to put them. So I pray and I self-reflect and I give it to something, even if it's real or it's not real. I don't care about that. Do you see what I'm saying here? Are you picking up what I'm saying? It's not relevant. It's irrelevant. It's not relevant if it's real or not. I don't care if it's real or not, because I don't know if it's real or not. And this is where everybody will say, oh, you've lost your mind. You're nuts. You've gone mad. You know, listen, every single one of you, after some time, if you actually start learning a lot of stuff and you're not in denial of everything and you start digging deep, every one of you, like I said, are going to go sane in an insane world. And let me tell you something. That is a scary thing, because the more you know, the more it hurts. The truth hurts. Yes, it also sets you free, though. It sets you free from all of these things that are binding you up, all of these things that are keeping you stuck in these places. Yes, it does that for a time too, but the truth hurts more than what it sets you free. You know, and look, I didn't make it this way, but it's how it is. And when you stare in your own black void, when you stare back at yourself, this is why nobody wants to do it, because it hurts too bad. The truth hurts too bad. And I understand why people say the things they do. I understand why they point the finger. I understand why they call people names, and I understand why they judge and they say the things they do. I understand this more than probably 7.7 billion people in the world, because that's how I feel sometimes, like I am one in 7.7 billion people. And whether you want to call it whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Maybe I am a narcissist that has empathy. It doesn't mean that you're just a narcissist, the label, or you're just, you're an empath, or you're a nihilist, or you're a Jesus Christ follower, or you're one of those religious guys, or all this stuff. Like I said, no one can take little pieces of every single doctrine in the world and reflect that back onto themselves. And this is what I have done. And that's why I know what I'm talking about when I'm speaking. And I wanted to say something, but I lost train of thought because I got, you know, it's when I'm on these discussions, I'm freestyling this out, but I'm not attempting to prove anything here. There is nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove. Find a craft or find something that you like so much that it doesn't matter what the world is doing. That's all that I can really say at this point. It's like if you're someone like me, talk about like what I'm talking about it because this is how I really feel. This is what I know. And this is what I know to be true. And the things that are true, listen, I'm telling you, truth is not what people think truth is. Truth is looking at your own metaphorical demons. Truth is self-reflecting. Truth is staring into your own dark void. Truth is doing everything that we do not want to do. And the lie is everything that the conditioning has conditioned us to think that we need to do. And it's not what we need to do. This is why do you think our people are so fucked up? Why do you think this world is so fucked up? Now see, I know everybody will have their own answer. Everybody will have their own answer. But do you want to know what the answer is? It's the way that it is because of the things that we have been conditioned with. And that is what my vision is to decondition at least some people. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. You might get angry. I get angry at myself. See, it doesn't even have anything. My life has nothing to do with anybody else's. When I talk about this, I am really speaking of myself, in myself. This is up to other individuals to reflect this back onto themselves. That is out of my hands. And yet again, the greatest projection, all the things that you're labeling, all the things that you point the finger at, all the things that you judge, all the things that you hate, all the things that you've been taught, all the things that you thought were what you thought they were. All of those things are conditionings that we have been conditioned with ever since we came of this world from our mother's wombs. And nobody is telling anybody this kind of stuff. And that's why the world, it keeps being the same way. It's the same repeated nonsense century after century after century. And we're all talking like something's changing. Barack Obama did it. Donald Trump did it. All the presidents did it. We're going to change something. They didn't change a damn thing. We kept going to war. We kept having people run planes into buildings, all in the name of this conditioning. And then we wonder why we're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and it doesn't stop. It is insanity. And that's why I said, when you're somebody that goes sane in an insane world, you will understand what I mean. And let me tell you something. This is a burden that is too much to bear sometimes. Knowing that you are one out of millions, billions of people, and I'm talking about billions of people that actually get this. Because I know I'm never going to have 1 million subscribers. I am never going to have probably even, I would say the most that I would get if I keep running this channel, and this is just an estimate, I might get a couple thousand. I might, get lucky. I don't know, but it's not about the numbers with me. I would like to reach more people and talk to more people, but do you think that my channel is going to be a, quote, popular channel? No. Do you think that my channel is going to be approved of? No. Do you think that conditioned people, do you think that people that don't know what they're really saying most of the time are going to subscribe to some guy that seems like he's lost it when actually he has gone sane? This is what I'm saying. The world will call you insane when actually you are the sane one. And that does not mean, listen, there are different levels to sane. There's certain circumstances that people are in, different circumstances. There's some people that are sane in different ways. I am sane because I know what is going on here. I know how the human condition is. I know how people are. I know the lingo. I know their reactions and everything that we do as people, because I have studied mankind. I have studied myself. I have studied and looked into every flaw, every right, wrong, every slip, every fall, every scrape, every scratch, every little malignant question that I can possibly ask, I have asked. I can't think of any more questions. And when I'm throwing questions out there into oblivion, I'm not asking people questions. I'm just throwing it out there so we can all think about it. You don't have to even give me an answer. I already know the answer. I am 50 years ahead of this thing. I am actually millennia ahead of people, because as long as politicians, as long as presidents, as long as the money system, as long as all of these things that we say that is a value system, as long as we keep going by all these conditionings that we have for centuries, then I am centuries ahead, because nobody is thinking like this. And I understand that there are so many of you out there that might listen to this, and you have to go by the norm of things that you might not want to go by the norm of. You might be going through something that you think that I don't understand. You might be having something going on with your family or your friends, or you had something happen to you when you were younger, or something like that. I already understand what you are going through or what you've been through and all that. I have suffered. I have suffered for a long time with physical issues, with mental issues, with family problems, with not knowing who I was as a person. But I don't have that problem anymore. I know what is going on here. I understand what is going on here. But I don't say that I know. I don't say that I am an identity. I don't call myself anything because I can't call myself anything because I live in the moment. I go by how I feel when I feel, but that doesn't mean that I don't know why I'm feeling that way or how I came to feel that way. And you know what? Listen, maybe I have went nuts to the person that may not understand. Maybe I have lost my marbles. Maybe I have gone insane, quote, insane. But I'm telling you, listen, remember that I said this. Be careful that you do not go sane in an insane world, because I'm telling you, I can hardly handle it. So if I can hardly handle it, and I've been through this thousands and thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, millions of times. If I've been through this so many times and I could hardly handle it, and I'm asking myself, I don't even know how I'm still here sometimes. I don't even know how I'm still breathing. I don't know how I keep going. I don't know what is keeping me around. I really don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery even unto me why or how I am. I don't even understand it. And it's not for me to understand. It's not to figure out what's going to happen if I figure out who I am. Then what is there to live for if I figure out who I am? If I have an identity, what is there to live for? If I know the question to every answer, what is there to live for? And see, this is where I'm saying this is the scary part, because I know a lot of shit, and I have forced myself to be in the shoes of animals in the wild. I have forced myself to be in the shoes of those people that got hit on 9/11 and they were hanging out of the windows with the smoke and they had to decide whether to burn to death or jump off the building. I've put myself in the shoes of a war veteran that was forced into that bullshit, but got a bullet in his leg, and it was in some horrible camp in Civil War times where he had to sit there with some form of gangrene or something, and he sat in a fucking ditch, and his teeth are rotting, he's vitamin C deficient, the water is ragged, his clothes are torn and dirty. I forced myself to feel and be in these people's situation, and I forced myself to feel it. I psychologically put myself through the terror of what they were going through. Even though I wasn't going through that physically, mentally, I said, my goodness, my God, my universe, what if I was that person? What if I was the war vet that got his leg blown off and I'm sitting in a ditch for hours? What if I was the guy in Civil War times where I got shot in the leg and I had to have some rusty metal thing frickin' and I'm sitting there for maybe, who knows? It could be 5 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It all depends on the doctor. Was the doctor a good doctor? Did the doctor care to sharpen the blade enough to cut the guy's fucking leg off? You see what I'm saying? It's the horror. If you haven't watched Apocalypse Now, if you want to know why Colonel Kurtz went insane, watch Apocalypse Now. Don't judge the movie at all. Don't judge it at all. See, most of us, we don't know how not to judge. And it's what Colonel Kurtz said. It's judgment that kills us. It's judgment that defeats us. It's judgment that defeats us. And I know he went insane. He was doing bad things. He was cutting off people's heads and doing all this crazy shit. I don't condone that, but I understand how he was against the corporation. He was against the leaders, the government. He was against those bombs. I hate them. I had this dream of a snail slithering across the edge of a straight razor. This is the horror that I have experienced myself through dreams, through visions, through putting myself in other people's shoes. So there's nothing that an average Joe can tell me. There is nothing that somebody that lives in a white picket fence with a big house with the dog outside that's groomed. And listen, those people are not in reality, most of them. I'm sorry to say, I have nothing against them, but it's not reality. Reality, we just cannot swallow the reality pill. That's all there is to it, folks. And we don't want to admit that because the truth hurts. And listen, yet again, if you haven't watched Apocalypse Now, I've watched segments. I have not watched this movie from the beginning to the end, though. I've watched segments of it over and over and over. And when you realize the hypocrisy and the contradiction and the irony going on in that movie, you will not judge Colonel Kurtz. You will not judge Willard. You will not judge any character in the movie because you realize you are those characters staring into the darkness back onto yourself. Because that's what we are. And that's why I was talking about Jesus and the cross, because that's the only place I can go to shed this shit on. I haven't found anything else in mankind, in people. So I have to go in prayer and surrender and get on my knees and say, my goodness, Jesus, help me. Even if you're not there, I need fucking help from this. Now, does that make me crazy? Does that make me nuts? Does that make me, whatever people judge me as or label me as? The depths of despair can go way deeper than what people think it can go. You think you're depressed now? You think you're going through some hard shit now? You think it's bad now and you got food on the table and you got a bed to lay in and you got a toothbrush and really? You have no idea what bad is. I have no idea what true horror is. I have dreams of horror. I dream horribly every day. I have horrible dreams every single day. I don't remember the last time I have not had a bad dream. I really don't. But yet, again, that's irrelevant. That's only me. And that's why I'm expressing me, because I'm the only one that goes through what I go through. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone has their own story. You know, your story is not mine and my story is not yours, but I know we're all a reflection of each other. It doesn't mean that we're going to have the same exact story. But listen, if you want to understand more of why I do what I do and why I am who I am and why I say the things I say, watch Apocalypse Now. Maybe watch a couple sermons on Jesus Christ if you want to. I'm not telling you have to do anything. It's just things I've experienced along the way. Look into history, all the wars, watch all the Roman empires and how they fell, and look at how men and women are, and watch how deceitful and how wretched and how wicked we really are as people. And a lot of this, yet again, is a conditioned state of mind. It's conditioning. And then we all come up with these same, quote, values and these same traditions and these same customs and these same, whatever the other, I can never remember the other word, not tradition, culture. Then we come up in the same culture and it just keeps getting handed down to the next generation. I am willing to break that curse, that metaphorical curse. I am not bringing a child into this world. Listen, if I knew my child would be wealthy, as in the fact that he would have everything he needs and more, or she would have plants filled with fresh corn and wheat and whatever, and they had a big, huge house that they built for themselves, and they lived lavishly and they loved life. I still don't know if I would bring them here, because I don't want to put anything on anything else. I'm just not willing to do that. I'm willing to at least have something in me to end my generational curse. And I don't want to call it that. When I loved life and I really had a zeal for it, listen, I'm telling you, there was a time where when I woke up, it was like almost like heaven to me, because I knew I could do anything. I could act any way I wanted to. I could go and do anything I wanted. I could be anything. I could do anything I wanted to do, and nothing was going to stop me. But me doing what I was doing, with all the things I was conditioned with all the things that I thought I did a lot of ignorant and stupid shit that got other things hurt, that got other creatures killed, that did a lot of harm. And I am ashamed of that. And that's why I forced these things upon myself, because I deserve the shit. I deserve to have dreams of hell for what I did. Even though I didn't choose this life, I didn't choose to really be what I was. It just happened through my environment, through my upbringing, through what people told me and taught me. And a lot of them things you can't get out of your head. If you're somebody out there, for all of you that you have grown up in a religious home or not grown up in a, quote, religious home, then you'll understand what I mean. A lot of these things you can never get out of your head. You will even hear people that say, I'm an atheist, but I grew up Catholic. They still even have this stuff in their mind. And even people that say, well, I don't know if there is or there isn't a God, but I call myself Catholic because that's what I grew up with. And these things that you got put into your psychological state, you cannot just erase them. You can't just say, okay, I'm etching this out. See you later. I don't ever have to think of you again. I don't ever have to think of any Bible verses or, Jesus dying on a cross or anything. And it just all comes down to discernment. And over time, if you keep watching my videos, if I'm still here, something will click after a while. But you know what? I would tell everyone, be very wary of what you are listening to, what you are watching, because I'm telling you, sometimes there is no going back. There is no point of return. And I have passed that point. There is no returning to what I was, or why did I let that happen, or how did I become this? Listen, I dug way too deep. I dug deeper than probably, like I said, I feel like I am 1 in 7.763 or 53 billion people. I feel like I am one in a world. And that's what I might name this video. It has nothing to do with being cocky or arrogant or thinking I know everything. I just feel like I'm one in a world. because of everything I know and everything that I've seen and everything I forced myself to see. And these are only little clips. These are only little glimpses into my reality and what has happened with my experience. These are only little tiny, if you're talking about feet, every video is only like a small fraction of a centimeter. If you're talking about like 100 feet of a football field, I'm only giving you a blade of grass here, people. And I'm not saying people like you're under me or more than me or less than me. That's not what I mean when I say people, when I say it like that. I'm just saying for the world, for everyone. Because what I think it is, it's just the lack of discernment. And once you have this discernment, it's going to be a burden kind of, but then on the other hand, you will already know. It's muscle memory. You will already know what not to get into or what to get into. You will know when you're doing too much or not enough. You will know just by the very words that people say if you have to be weary or you're like, okay, well, maybe it's not what I think. And let me tell you something. That like paranoia is this word, we use this as a bad word, but I would tell everybody, be paranoid. Just don't let it consume you. Don't let it play on your thinking and your thoughts, but always be weary of things. You know, I don't want to use the word paranoid. I'd say always be alert and aware of what it is that you're doing because other people are not. And listen, I can't lie. I do enjoy doing these videos sometimes. But there are some times when I do these videos and I am just doing them to do them. I'm doing them because I'm depressed or I'm having a shitty time in life or there's something going on that I just don't want to do or I have no fascination with. Listen. I go through some shit on that shit. You know, and that's all I'm doing is I am just exposing my own life. I am willing to. This is why I'm so fascinated with Jesus and the cross, because I'm almost willing to sacrifice myself for another person. I'm almost willing to give my life for the sake of understanding and to expose myself so that people can understand and can discern things and have knowledge. I don't want to do this. I didn't want to do this, but there's sometimes I enjoy it and there's other times that I almost despise it. I almost say, look, I am done. I don't want to do this shit. I don't care. Fuck everybody. See you later. The show's over. But then I say, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's like, what else can I do but talk? What else can I do but take a walk? What else can I do but eat a little food? What else can I do but whatever I'm doing? It's like there's nothing else to do. And I am, listen, I am the number one hypocritical contrarian on the planet. But see, when I call myself a hypocrite, it's not what most people probably think I mean. I am a hypocrite because I go from one thing to the next. I am never just one thing. I am the biggest contrarian. I contradict myself in so many ways all the time. And it's okay. It's okay that I do that. And it's okay for the person that may be judging or saying something. It's okay, but understand what you are doing. Understand what you are capable of. Understand what you can get into and not even know that you can get into it, because I have had it happen to me. I thought that I had this all together. I thought that I could never fall off the cliff. I could never be a drug addict like my brothers. I can never be a heroin addict like my dad. And my brothers and them, I'd always mock them by scratching my nose and nodding off and acting like I was high. And here it backfired on me. It came back and bit me in my ass because I was ignorant of it. If I could go back, I wouldn't have made fun of them. And if I could go back, I would have never, ever done any hard drugs. But then again, here's the hypocrisy. Here's the contradiction. I'm kind of glad that I did do drugs because it caused me to arrive to this point. It caused me to question. The hard times is what makes me what I am. The suffering is what makes me what I am. I know it sounds so nuts, but it's almost like the bad things are the things that teach you the most, are the things that you learn the most from. And it's like these good things, these soft things, yes, that is needed sometimes too, but this does not confirm what a harsh reality is actually doing. That we get brutally honest with ourselves. You can't get brutally honest with yourself by being this person that is way too soft or saying, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it, and you're enabling everybody. You're never going to get real with yourself. And people are going to walk on you. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you. And I had to learn this the hard way because I used to treat every single person like they were my brother or sister. And I called them brothers and sisters, and I treated them kindly, and I gave them chance after chance after chance. I mean, you would not believe how many times I got stepped on, and I forgave people for stepping on me. And after a while, I said, you know what? These people are just not getting it. So I'm going to have to, even though I don't want to, I'm going to have to change some of the things that I'm doing, even though I didn't want to do it. And I'm telling you, this is why my character, why I think I do have a ton of different personalities, because I gave everybody equal opportunity. I treated everybody not the same, but I looked at them like, okay, I'm willing to listen to you. Who are you? What do you do? I never judged them. I might have not liked something that they did or how they treated me, but I never looked at them and said, oh, look at this person. I can't stand this person. They're not like me. Yeah, look at it. Who do they think they are? And everybody else did that though. See, everybody else did that because they were the weak people. They were the ones that had no heart. They were like cowards. They couldn't take it upon themselves to actually face themselves and to self-reflect. You see, it's all the projecting I'm talking about. They don't know how not to project. And this video is an hour and 4 minutes here, hour, 3 minutes. I don't even know if this is going to upload. I don't even know if the file size, I think it already cut off. Matter of fact, I hope it didn't. It's still saying stop. So, but listen, I enjoyed this talk. And you know what? I'm throwing this into oblivion. I'm throwing it into the void, and it's going to go sailing. Whoever's ears it's going to go into, it's going to go into. And listen, y'all, another thing I want to say here. I talked to some guy. I was going to upload the video, but the volume, it's really loud. You can hear my voice really loud, and then he's talking quiet. I ran into some guy that I know that walks around here. He's homeless, and we had a conversation for about an hour and 40 minutes. Well, with him, it was an hour. I talked for 40-some minutes before he talked. But it's really strange how I ran into someone that was almost as wise as me. Someone that I didn't expect to say some of the things that this guy was saying at all. I mean, he said, the greatest projection is self-reflection. I mean, who else would say something like that? Not anybody I can think of. And he said something else that see, I lost train of thought, but we were talking about these things, and even though he was bringing some of his learned, conditioned religion into the conversation, he still had a lot of knowledge bombs to drop on me that I didn't expect. I didn't expect him to say most of the things he was saying. And I judged him before I even talked to him. And that just made me realize more and more and more. It almost cemented this thing with, now I really get it. Like I can't transfer what I'm saying to you. It doesn't make me any more special, or I'm enlightened now. Quote, enlightened, and I know something you don't know. No, all I'm saying is it was like affirmation. It was like, oh my goodness gracious, I finally ran into another human out of 7.7 billion people that actually told me or said something that I never heard before. And it's kind of crazy how that happens, like at certain times where you never expect it, and you're like, I'm at the end of the road here, and then something just happens to come along. And look, I know this sounds superstitious, but I had so many things happen in my life that if I explain this, it would take a long time. But there are some things that just happened and came about and went a certain way, and it's almost too good to be true. It's almost like I can't not tell myself that there isn't some kind of intelligence behind this. It's almost like, how can I be this knowledgeable? How can we know these things? How can we know to do everything that we do? Yes, I understand that we've learned it over time. It was step by step by step by step. But even the human body being formed, even mankind coming about with teeth and lips and a nose and a nostril and an eyeball and a iris and eyelashes and cheekbones and ears and eyes and hair and a brain. And when you're talking about the brain, you're talking about something that is just, we cannot comprehend it. And then ankles, knees, elbows, joints, ligaments, blood vessels, heart, lungs, feet, toenails. How the fuck can this all just know to come together like this? How? You atheists, you believers, anybody out there, tell me how. And look, this is not me asking someone a question to answer it. I'm just saying it to think. I'm just throwing it out there. But I ask myself, and excuse my language when I say it like this, but how in the fuck did this come about? I don't care what anybody says. I really don't. And I have looked into this. I have looked into this to a T plus T plus T plus E minus Z squared plus infinity minus bumblebees plus brick walls. Like, I have done I have drove myself literally to the point of madness, to the point of some infinite horrible glory inside my own head that I cannot describe to people. And I don't really even see, I talk about things, but I don't talk about everything. And there are things that I keep to myself. And I do have a private world. I do have a world of my own that nobody even knows about. I have things that I've thought and did and things that go on that nobody knows about. You know, this is just a fraction of what you're hearing on here. This is literally an hour and 9 minutes of my time. This is just a fraction. It's one little hair that has fell off my head in my entire life, and I've been getting haircut after haircut, trimming the hair off. This is just one hair on the floor that's been swept up and put into the trash. And the more that I think about this, the more that I go on in life, it's almost, it's a paradox in and of itself. It's some weird, ironic, it is almost unbelievable how you can just say, oh, well, we came from some cell. We came from the earth. And then, we came from the ocean and salt and materials. And we came into these humans. Well, where did the first woman or the first man, how did it just come to be? We cannot live in the elements as a baby or as something. We will die. Without shelter, we will die. And look, I'm not getting into that. I got into that in another one of my videos and all this. Look, that's not what I'm saying here. Listen, hear me out here when I say this. We went from that to being humans and then having this consciousness to think and to reason and to say, I want to go left instead of right. I want to eat spaghetti instead of spaghetti and meatballs. I want to learn about the universe instead of learning about cars. And then you say, oh, well, we went from a cell to living, to having a consciousness and going through life. And then we die and we're dead forever. We're just dead. We're a part of the ground. We're a part of the grass. We're a part of the earth. We go back to the very cells that have created us. And sometimes I even call these cells God. I call them God because if cells made us, then that is the creator. If organisms and molecules have created us, then they are God. God is small. And I don't think God is this person in the sky that's looking down and saying, you did that, that's wrong, don't do that. No, that's not how I see God if there's some type of God. I see God as he gave us a choice, and we make the choices, and that's all there is to it. But that's not even what I mean by what I'm getting at here. I am saying, how in the world, how did this come to be? And then we're just gone forever. It's really hard. I see why people hang on to this faith thing, or they hang on to this, there's an afterlife, or there's something more than this, or there has to be a God. Like I was talking to the guy and I said, well, I don't know for sure if there's a God. I don't know. I'm agnostic. I don't know whether there is or not. I don't call myself a believer or an atheist. But this guy, he said, there's gotta be. There's got to be. And he sounded so convinced. And that's what keeps him going. That's what keeps this man going every day, is that he thinks that there is a God. He thinks that there is something after this. And you know what? I am envious. I am jealous of that in a way, not in a way people think that I am, but I say to myself, there was a time where I was convinced that there was a God, that Jesus Christ actually died for me to understand myself more. And I absolutely believed that and thought it was real. And now I'm in this place where I'm skeptical and I ask questions and I don't understand everything, but I am still attempting to understand this mystery. And that's what keeps me going. It's the mystery of not knowing, but some things I do know. It's just, I don't want to swallow the pill. I don't want to swallow that pill that's so big you can't get it down your throat, because the truth hurts. And the truth also sets you free. It is a double standard. It's why I did my video of a double-minded man. It's why I did the videos that I did from before this. It's why I talked about things being awkward. And do you see why I have to explain myself? Because this thing, it never explains itself until you actually get what it is that the one that experienced it, which is myself, gets across, and people actually understand it. And that takes a lot of different sessions. That takes a lot of different times listening, and it takes repetition. It's, you just cannot get this overnight. You can't win a World Series overnight. And we all know this. We all know what I'm saying. You can't make a popsicle out of thin air. You have to go get the wood. You have to cut the tree down. You have to make the popsicle stick. Then you have to go and get some land, cultivate it, make sure the dirt's okay. You have to grow some sugar cane. You have to do whatever ingredients are needed to make that thing. And then a man has to package it and cultivate it and stock it and sell it. And then the trash men have to come and recycle it and throw it out. And it's just this thing that it's so overwhelming, but at the same time, it is a fascinating yet horrible paradox in and of itself. That's why I call it the horrible glory. The horrible glory in everything. It's the most extreme thing that you can possibly think of. The most horrible and worst thing you can ever think of, and the most glorious, the most awe-inspiring, the most impalling thing that you can think of. And that's why I call myself the ultimate hypocrisy, the ultimate contrarian. I am the ultimate contrarian on YouTube. You are never going to find another channel like mine, because you will never find another channel like mine. And that's not me bragging. It's just the truth. And let the truth be the truth for the person that it is the truth for. Now, that doesn't mean when he uses or she uses the word truth, that does not mean that it is truth. That can be a delusion. That can be a lie. That can be something they were taught or conditioned with. See, this is where discernment comes in. This is what I mean by discernment. And not a lot of us have that. This is what is lacking in our world. And you know what? If I would have did a front-facing video, I wouldn't have did it like I did it. Because, see, when I'm looking at myself, I talk different than when it's the camera is pointing away from me. I somehow, some reason, talk better. Well, I talk more openly. I talk more flowetry. Not better. See, I don't want to use the word better. I have flowetry when I'm pointing this way. And I'm not looking at myself, because it's almost like I'm attempting to give myself an answer. And I don't want to do that. That's why I haven't been filming myself a lot lately. It's not that I don't want to film myself, because like I said, I actually do love myself. I care for myself, and I would care and love that other people did the same for themselves. but I can't do that for anyone. That's why I was saying in the video, lay your burdens on him. Lay your burdens on, this is what I mean metaphorically. Do you understand? Lay your burdens on something that you don't even understand. Lay your burdens and surrender to the universe if you have to. Surrender to yourself in prayer. Prayer has nothing to do with religion, people. It has nothing to do with religion, y'all. And there's another thing that the guy told me. I don't want to get into the whole religion thing and stuff right now. To me, it's irrelevant. When you understand these things and you understand them, you won't have to talk about them no more. You won't have to explain this to other people because they'll already know. And after this video, a lot of y'all should know this. I shouldn't have to really say it again, but I know there will be other people that come here that might not understand. So I might have to say it again. But listen, this is what I'm going to end the video with. If I said anything about love, the word love, metaphorical love, listen, this guy that I talked to, he also said something, and this is true. Everybody needs to hear sometimes I love you, just to let them know that they mean something, or you care for them, or they're there. Listen, I don't think there is such a thing as, quote, love or hate. I just see it as a type of energy. And the energy of love is just saying, look, I love you. I love you, man. I love you, woman. I love you, whoever's listening. But do you love yourself, though? That's the thing, though. Do you love your own life? Do you love the fact that you are somebody that can do something a little different from what I do? You have the choice to do whatever you want to do while you're here on this planet. But don't do it ignorantly. That's all I'm saying. Do it responsibly. If you want to be naughty, you can be naughty. If you want to go to a brothel and you want to spank a girl's ass and you want to eat her out and whatever, and you want to have a good time and then give her money for what she did, I have no problem with that. But what I have a problem with, and everybody should have a problem with, and even the people that do it know that it's wrong, I have a problem if you go to the brothel and you go there and you strangle the girl because you got angry about something, and then you kill her and then you spit on her and leave. I have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying? Listen, naughty is not violence. Naughty is, you can be naughty. It's just don't overdo it. It's almost like this thing where I'm telling myself and I'm telling you and I'm telling the world, it's like anything that we do, just don't overdo it. Because see, I've already done that. I've already overdid shit and I know the consequences. And there's always consequences, but don't underdo stuff either. Don't just not do anything. If you see somebody that's starving or needs something to drink, then give them food and drink. But yet there's so many of us that we overindulge in everything. We do way too much to prove something to someone. You see, if you have this responsibility of, I am taking this too far or I'm not doing enough, and you always have that discernment, then you're there. You are there if you can do that with every aspect in your life. I don't have a problem with people having fun. It's just people have irresponsible, ignorant fun. They start doing really dumb shit that can kill or hurt or do something really bad and make the situation horrible. I don't care if women want to dance and shake their booty. They're women. That's what they're meant for. They're meant to use their beauty. But women are abusing their bodies. They're abusing this. They do it too much. They overdo it. They over sexualize things. They're not just wearing a skirt with some tank top and like, you know, whatever. No, they have to have a thong on where you can damn near see their pussy and you know, you can almost see their nipples, and they overdo it. It's over sexualized. It's like, let us men guess a little bit. That's the fun in it. Women that are listening to this, if there is any women listening, I don't even know if there's a lot of women that listen to my videos. And I'm glad that you're here. I want women and men and everyone to be here. I don't care who you are, but what I'm saying is, women, when women wear dresses that go down to their feet and they're like silky and you can see the shape of their body, it makes you wonder, man, what does that look like under there? What's under there? But when you see it, there's nothing to be fascinated by but the nakedness of the woman. That's not appealing to me. I always been this type of guy that I like if a woman wears clothes when I'm having sex, like they leave something on. It just makes it more mysterious. It makes it more fascinating. It arouses me a little more because I don't know what's under that shirt. I don't know how her breasts look, the shape of them, or what size her nipples are, or, you know, how big her clit is or her pussy. And I know this is a little graphic for whoever's younger. But that doesn't matter. This is natural things that I'm talking about. I'm just using other words besides vagina or breasts or areola, you know, and it's the same with us men. All these men are trying so hard to be these alpha males and to show off and to say, look at my big, huge muscles, and I'm Batman or Superman, or I'm this villain. Look at me. I'm so bad and evil. I'm such a bad boy. I'm a bad guy. And the girls like the bad guys. They like the rebels. And yes, women do like rebellious men. They do like the bad boy more than the good guy because that's their nature. It's the forbidden fruit. It's human nature, like the song with Madonna. It's human nature, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. How can you be sorry for something natural? I'm not sorry for natural things. I'm sorry for some of the things I did to hurt, kill, or destroy some things. Yes, I'm ashamed and I'm guilty and I feel bad. You know, so that's all it is. It's one big paradox. It's one big contradiction. It's you can't have positive without negative. You can't have attraction without being unattracted to something. You can't have anything without the other. It's an impossibility, you know? And the more that we try to fight against this natural thing, the more that we attempt to do what we have been doing for centuries, the more that it's just not going to work. Why can't we see this? And I know a lot of people, you think this is working. You think that this whole thing is working how it is, and you think that it is how it's supposed to be. I don't see it like that for everything. I think this is just the norm of conforming, the norm of conform. So we just say, oh, well, that's how it is. And nobody looks into it. Nobody asks questions. Nobody opposes anything or anybody. Nobody confronts. Nobody does anything to offend or to make some type of different wave in the pattern of the same waves anymore. And you see, this is something I enjoy doing. But I know there's a lot of people that take things personal and they take it to heart and they get offended and they take it so serious. Lighten up. It's like, and I'm telling myself this too, Nate, lighten up. Lighten up, Nate. Quit taking shit so seriously. But there's a time to take things serious. When you know that someone might not understand, or someone might be confused or asking a question, and you know the direction to go in, but you don't have an answer because you already know that there is no same answer for each person. Everybody has a different experience or something like that. So it can never be the same. And that's great. That's great that nobody is the same to a T. Then we would be, and you know what? Listen, here's another paradox. Yet again, we would be kind of like the pod people in, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But you know what? Sometimes I think that would be, better. I don't want to use the word better, but it would be, we would all be of a beehive mentality. We would all be working together to form these things into pods so that we all work together for the same exact thing, to be pods. But we say they're a virus. We say that they are eating and consuming and all this stuff. And yes, that's what they're doing. That's what all of us do. We're all parasites. We are all a virus. We go to one place, we use that, and then we go to another place. We are what Mr. Smith in The Matrix described us as. We just don't want to take the truth on. We just don't want to swallow it. We don't want to accept it. We are the virus. And these, quote, good guys, the one, Kiana is the one. This is us just running away from the truth more. This is just us not facing reality more. This is just us attempting to stop what nature is going to do regardless. It's a losing battle. So lose with dignity. You know, just say, look, I lost. I lost the chess match. I lost the life match. I can win the battle, but I can never win the war. So you know what? I surrender. So maybe I can win a bunch of battles in my life now, even though I'm not going to win the war. I throw in the white towel. I'm throwing in the white towel. And I mean that. I'm throwing in the white towel. But then there may be days where I might have to fight a little bit and I might have to win the battle, but I know that I'm not going to win the war. There is no winning, but I don't want to totally lose either, but I'm surrendering. See, like I said, it seems confusing, but once you get this, you will not be confused by it. It will make sense. It will make absolute sense that we cannot really help what nature is doing at all. Not at all. We can't intercede with this thing. It's going to happen regardless. And the little things that we can change or we can attempt to do something